Okay guys, in this video it's going to be a little bit different. More than watching me, this is going to be of a listen to me. Since I have a lot of subscribers that are from Guatemala and living in the United States, I wanted to pass on a little bit of information that I researched and found on Guatemala. So follow along. Okay, again, thanks for watching, but again, this is more so a listening to video. I have a few stories that I've acquired that I want to go over for my subscribers who are now living in the U.S. But are of Guatemalan descent and still probably have family there. So, and I'll preface by saying where I got the story from, and all stories are over the last 2 to 3 days, okay, and some as of a few hours ago. So first, according to Yahoo News, Guatemalan Health Minister Hugo Monray on Tuesday said that more than 50% of all deportees flown to his country from the United States have tested positive for COVID-19 coronavirus. Monroy did not share any specific numbers on how many deportees are sick or when they return to Guatemala, the Los Angeles Times reports. But he did say that deportees are stepping up off airplanes with fevers and coughs and receiving immediate COVID-19 testing. Guatemala has 150 active COVID-19 cases in the country, and at least 5 Guatemalans have died from the virus. A spokesman from the Guatemalan Foreign Ministry told the Times the official number of deportees diagnosed with COVID-19 is 4, with 1 arriving on Monday. Since January, more than 11,758 Guatemalans have been deported from the United States, included 100 unaccompanied minors. Okay, according to the New York Times, in the scramble to contain the spread of COVID-19 in the United States, the Trump administration has been pushing forward with its aggressive immigration enforcement agenda, deporting thousands of people to their home countries, including some who are sick with the virus. Dozens of Guatemalans flown home by immigration and customs enforcement since late March tested positive for the coronavirus after returning, according to Guatemalan authorities. President Trump used the Surgeon General's authority last month to effectively seal the southern border, saying the move was necessary to prevent migrants from carrying the coronavirus into the United States. But few, if any, people with the disease have crossed from the border from Mexico. And Guatemalan authorities have now accused the United States, which has the most coronavirus cases in the world, of sending infected people back across its borders. A team of researchers from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention arrived in Guatemala this past week to review and validate the COVID-19 tests performed on those arriving. According to Jenny Burke, an ICE spokeswoman, Ms. Burke said the agency would then reevaluate current medical procedures with the CDC guidance to ensure that any new necessary practices are implemented. Okay, according to AlJazeera.com, 2 deputy health ministers in Guatemala were fired this week amid revelations of an alleged corruption ring inside the ministry. Rodolfo Galdamez, the Technical Director, Ministry of Health, and Hector Moroquin, the Administrative Deputy Minister of Health, were fired Monday, according to officials. Fears grip Guatemala indigenous groups as coronavirus sets in. In normal circumstances, Guatemala's healthcare system in rural areas is appalling, said a doctor in the Guatemalan Department of Alta Verapaz. But in the time of the coronavirus pandemic, it is even worse. Rural and indigenous communities across Guatemala are increasingly concerned about the spread of coronavirus, questioning whether the country's already fragile healthcare system could adequately respond. The Guatemalan healthcare system is not prepared to attend to a pandemic of this magnitude, said Diego Petzi, currently a community leader in Santiago Atitlan, another rural area. According to NBCnews.com, this is a story about Mario Barrios. I found this one interesting. Barrios, 28, was arrested on March 23rd by the U.S. Customs and Border Protection in Southern California and was deported 4 days later to Tijuana, Mexico, without having a deportation order and without first seeing an immigration judge. He spent 21 days in Mexico without being authorized to be there until the United States reinstated him. Noticias Telemundo first reported Barrios' case, alerting the Guatemalan consulates, who then negotiated Barrios' re-entry into the United States. His irregular expulsion occurred in the midst of the coronavirus emergency. It was later discovered that he had pending immigration processes in the United States. The Border Patrol of the San Diego sector quickly took action with the assistance of the Guatemalan Consulate General to allow Mr. Barrios to re-enter the United States, she said. Barrios told Noticias Telemundo that his return was less traumatic than his removal. Several agents and the head of the Border Patrol in San Diego were waiting for me with my name. They asked me my name and they took many photos of me, he said. After his return to the United States, he spent 6 days detained at the Border Patrol station in Chula Vista, California. He was then released on parole and continued working on his pending immigration case. Okay, according to Latin Finance, Guatemala received more than $8.1 billion in orders in a 2-part bond sale on Tuesday that raised $1.2 billion for the country's response to COVID-19, according to the sources close to the deal. Guatemala has maintained the best technicals in Central America and the Caribbean by far during this entire crisis, said the analyst in New York. Or, as an investor in the Caribbean put it, one of the best things that makes Guatemala attractive is its low level of indebtedness. According to the NewYorkTimes.com, as coronavirus threatens teenage migrants age out into ICE jails. And this is in Washington. Isaac, a 17-year-old Guatemalan, crossed the U.S. border nearly 8 months ago and was detained as a minor by the U.S. Office of Refugees Resettlement, long before the novel coronavirus existed. As his 18th birthday approached last month, it appeared he would be released to a Texas shelter where the director promised that the teenager would be provided counseling and referred for any medical assistance he may require for high blood pressure, severe anxiety, and if necessary, COVID-19, should the virus reach the shelter. Instead, on the day he became an adult in the eyes of the U.S. government, agents from ICE swooped in and shipped him to the Otero County Processing Center in El Paso, where he says he sleeps arm's distance away from dozens of other immigrants. I have no doctor. I have medication, but it is the one given to me by my previous shelter when I was a minor, said Isaac, who asked to be identified only by his middle name for fear of retaliation. Around 32,000 immigrants or migrants remain in custody on civil charges as ICE faces growing pressure to address the health concerns posted by the spreading coronavirus, including scores like Isaac, who were initially taken into custody as minors, then held long enough to age into the adult detention center. As of Wednesday night, ICE had confirmed 287 cases of the virus among detainees and 35 cases among staff members. According to Relics.com, this one's entitled Women at Work, Anna Rose. I had to have something slightly positive today. Anna Rose has just returned from her 4th international service trip with the Music is Love Exchange. And while she may be unwinding in Brooklyn with a cup of coffee, she wouldn't describe herself as tired. Instead, she feels an immense amount of gratitude from her week-long combination of service work, tourism, and musical entertainment, all giving back to Guatemala's remote Lake Atitlan region. We do service work during the day, and then at night the musicians perform concerts with the fans who have come with us. And at other points, we do concerts in Spanish in the villages and nearby hospitals. That's really where it all meets. Music is the universal language, she explains. And now I've got about 2 more weeks until I start to feel really anxious that I'm not on the road. So those are the stories that I've compiled today. Let me know what you think this format is like. Again, this is more so just listening to the stories to hear what's going on. And again, this is for most of my subscribers and viewers that are of Guatemalan descent. So gracias por buscando. Muchas gracias. And we'll talk to you soon.